Welcome everybody, this is Mr. Ndabezita again, and this time I want us to deal with what we call a delegate. It is very important that we understand exactly what is happening here. So let's just say this will be let me just say delegate. This will just be the name of the project, and I will use .NET 6.0, and we will just wait for that to load up. It is very important that we always have just a brief summary of what we will be dealing with. Now they say understanding delegates. A delegate is an object that contains a reference to a method. Object-oriented programmers would say that a delegate encapsulates a method. So inside of the brackets, you have this method that is encapsulated. Right. In government, a delegate is a representative that you authorize to make choices for you. All right. For example, you select a delegate to a presidential nominating convention. When human delegates arrive at a convention, they are free to make last-minute choices based on current conditions. So it is always dependent on the conditions. So we might sit down and say, this is what we are going to do, but when we arrive at the event where the function is taking place and we observe the conditions, therefore the delegates will make decisions based on the conditions that are present at that time. So we will see this in an object-oriented manner, but this was just an information that is just provided to us. Right. When human delegates arrive at a convention, they are free to make last-minute choices based on current conditions. Similarly, in C#, delegates provide a way for a program to take alternative courses that are not determined until the run time. We will see this. We will surely see this. When you write a method, you do not always know which actions will occur at runtime. So you give your delegate authority to run the correct methods. This is the object-oriented way of looking at things. Similarly to human delegates that we appoint to represent us, we might have said these are the decisions made, but based on the current conditions at that time when the day comes, therefore the delegates are free to make decisions based on current conditions. And we will look at this in an object-oriented manner in software engineering, how this delegate could just actually work. After you have instantiated a C# delegate, you can pass this object to a method. Very important. After you have instantiated a C# delegate, you can pass this object. It's an object. So you have instantiated an object, and this object can now be passed to a method, which then can call the method referenced. Very important, call by reference within the delegates. In other words, a delegate provides a way to pass a reference to a method as an argument to another method. That is fine. I think we have just had a view of exactly what is happening. I think we just had a glimpse of what a delegate might actually be and how it works. Right, we are fine with that, no complaints. But what I want us to do is to create a class. Right, remember, okay, let me just have a namespace here that I will call X. Case sensitive. I will just have a class which I will call P. I will have a static void main, a string of arguments. Alright, I will end the main, I will end the class, I will end the namespace. And then from there, what I will do when I am inside, okay, let me not go inside of the main because I want to create another class, and I will call this class a greeting. I will just call this class a greeting. So this will be a greeting delegate. Okay, that it's fine. Let's just end the class. All right. Now I know that a delegate, first of all, okay, let's read something very important. You declare a delegate using a keyword delegate followed by an ordinary method declaration that includes a return type, method's name, and the argument list. Very important. You declare a delegate using the keyword delegate. It is a C# reserved keyword followed by an ordinary method declaration that includes a return type and the method name and the argument list. Very, very important. Very important. Right. Okay. Let's just look exactly where you declare this delegate. Okay, let's just check something. I'm just looking for more detailed information as to where this delegate needs to be declared. Okay, we will assume that a delegate is declared inside of a class, and then I will have this reserved keyword delegate. So I'm going to have a return type, as they said, voice, and the method name I will call this greeting delegate, and then it will accept some parameters. It will accept one argument that I will just call S, and you don't have any curly braces. It is declared inside of a class. It is a delegate void. We call this a greeting delegate. Alright, and then it accepts one argument which is of type string. So inside of a class you have your delegate. It will return void. So what is this? This is it's a delegate. It encapsulates a method. Right, so they said we declare a delegate using the keyword delegate followed by an ordinary method declaration. Right, a method declaration that includes a return type. This one, it's void. And then the method name, we have a method name greeting delegate, and the argument list, we accept just one argument which is of type string. Very, very important. Right, what we can do from there, we have this delegate. That is fine. We have named this a greeting delegate. Okay, that is fine. It accepts one argument which we call a string. So I can have this delegate inside of a class, or I can just have that within the namespace. Very important. It is not inside of a class, but it is within the namespace. So let's just put it outside of a class. So you can have this delegate outside of a class, because this is the opening and the closing of a class, but it is inside of a namespace. So that's also where you might have that. So we have a class that we call greeting. That is fine. And what is it that I want to do inside of this class? First of all, I want to have a public, and this will be a static method. It will return void, and I'll just call this method hello, and hello will accept a string argument s. Right, and what will that do? Okay, let me just right, so let me just end hello. Right, I just want to have an import here using static system dot console. All right, this is all what I want to have, be that as it may. And then I just want to have a write line inside here. I just want to have a write line and just say hello, and then let me just have a comma, and let me use placeholders and just have a comma, and then I am passing in that string s that I will insert when I invoke that method. Okay, that is fine. This is just a static void hello, and then I have that write line. Okay, nothing is mysterious about that. You can just have maybe for an example, just to insert 2 exclamation marks for fancifulness. And then secondly, once I am outside of this hello method, I can have again a public static, and it will also return void, and I can just say this is goodbye. So first of all, I said hello, and then now I'm saying goodbye. I'm also accepting a string s, and what is it that I am doing there? I'm just having a write line, and I'm just saying to the person goodbye wena specific individual, right? And then I'm sending my argument there that I will accept as a parameter when you call this method. Everything it's fine, nothing mysterious about this. We understand exactly what is happening there. We dealt with more complicated things than this. Now let me go inside of the main. First of all, what I will do, I have a delegate here, so let me just invoke that method. I have a greeting delegate, there it is, and then I am just sending to, in fact I am creating the objects. I am creating the objects of this delegate. So I will say this is first, and I will say this is second. Now let's go back and read. Right, after you have instantiated a C# delegate, you can pass this object to a method. Right, so I instantiate a C# delegate, and then I'm passing in this, or I'm passing the object to a method, which then can call the method referenced within the delegate. Right, okay, that is fine. And they say, in other words, a delegate provide a way to pass a reference to a method as an argument to another method. This is exactly what we are trying to investigate. Now, the first delegate, let me just say this is a first delegate and this will be a second delegate. So I will come here and say first delegate is equals to new greeting delegate, and I'm passing in a method which I will call hello. But I want you to be aware of something. Hello is inside of greeting and it is a static method, so I'm going to call that via the class name. Sorry, so what I'm going to say greeting dot, and there it is. I'm sending this method, but I know that this method which is hello, let me go and check first. Hello accepts a string argument. This is one most important thing that I know, so I'm just going to say hello. So what is it that I'm doing here? I am passing in a reference. Remember what we said. Now, remember what we said. We said now, after you have instantiated a C# delegate, you can pass this object to a method, which then calls the method referenced within the delegate. In other words, a delegate provides a way to pass a reference to a method as an argument to another method. Right. And then we continue. The greeting delegate can encapsulate any method as long as it has a void return, because our delegate here, please let's see something. Our delegate here, the return type is void, so whatever method that you pass within the delegate has to also return void, and it must accept one string argument. So any method that you are sending to the delegate here must return void and accept one argument. Hence I can pass hello because it returns void and accepts one argument as a string. The same transpires for a goodbye. Very, very important that we understand that. So what have I done here? I have created two objects of the delegate, first delegate and second delegate. I am reserving memory for the first object via the new keyword. We know this. So when I reserve memory for that, and then I am doing what now? I am passing now a reference to a method, because the signature is the same. It has the same return type as the delegate, and it accepts the same number of argument as strings, just as the delegate does. Very, very important that we understand this. And what is first and what is second? These are the two objects of the delegate that you will reference here. So the first object, I'm creating memory for the first object, and then I am using the greeting delegate, which is what now? Which is the delegate that I have inside of this class. I am invoking a delegate here. I am invoking a delegate, also creating memory for that and saving the information inside the first object, which is first delegate. When I invoke the object of this delegate, which is first, I am passing in a reference method to another method, which is a greeting delegate. But this method accepts two objects. which is first, and you have to reserve memory for that. And then when you are here, because this method is static, I will access that method via the class name. When you insert the class name and then you say the dot, then it will reference to this method which is inside of greeting, and then the delegate will be able to take decisions on behalf of this during the runtime, because this method has the same return type and the same number of argument as the delegate. Very, very important. So I will pass in the hello, and then I will also do the same thing for second delegate. That will be equals to new, and I'm reserving memory for that, and then I'm sending greeting dot goodbye. So what are these now? These are the two reference methods, and then they will be saved inside of these two objects, because it will accept two objects. Because I have two methods, I will create memory for that, and then I will reference those two methods. Please just try to understand it in that simplicity. Right, now I can say now I want you to be aware of something here. What I did there was, okay, I have those two objects, that it's fine, so nothing is mysterious about this. I have a greeting delegate, which is a first delegate and a second delegate, that is okay. I have reserved memory for those two objects, and then I have passed in the argument as a reference. And then what am I doing now? Now let me just do something that is very simple. Inside here, inside of this greeting, let me just have a public, and it will be static, and it will return void. And then let me just call this method method. And this greet method that I have now will accept some few arguments. I want you to listen very carefully here. First of all, I will send the greeting delegate. It will accept an object, which I will call GD. Very, very important. It accepts an object that I will call greeting delegate GD. We dealt with this. We dealt with methods that accepts an object. This is nothing new to you. And then secondly, now it will accept a string, which is an S. Very, very important. Or I can just say, let me just use for a change name. And then when I invoke this method, I want to have a write line. And then what will be the write line now? It will be the greeting is, and let me just have a greeting. Let me just have a greeting. The greeting is, and just have some space. Okay, let me not have some space. Right, I will have this write line. The write line will just say the greeting is, and then I will just terminate with a semicolon. And then what I will do now, I will take an object GD, and then when I take that object inside the curved brackets, you must have those curved brackets, and then I will send in the arguments string. I will send in the argument string. So what am I doing in this method? This method, public static void, that method, this method accept an argument which is an object, which I call GD, and also accepts a string which is a name. So it accepts two things, an object and a string. And then when you invoke this method, what will happen? It will say write line, the greeting is, and then what will it do now? It will go take what the object, and it will take what the string as an argument. So you will pass in an object here followed by a string. Right, if that is so, let's check. Now this is what I have. I just have the second delegate equals new greeting delegate greeting dot goodbye. That is fine. So let me just invoke this method. It is a static method. So let's check the name of the class. Namespace, it's delegate. Let's go here, we have it, that's fine. So what I want to do here, I want to invoke this method, but I don't have it because I said the method is greet method. So I know how to access that. I have to access that via the class name. So I will just say a greeting dot, there it is. Now what is it that I have now? I have a greet method. Very important. What does the method accept? It accepts first an argument, an object. So what am I sending there? I will send first the first one because I have the first del as a what now, as an object, and then secondly it accepts a string, just a string. So I will send a string which I will say is sekese morena makofane. Yeah, right. I will copy this method and paste again, but this time what am I doing? I will send in the second delegate, and now I will say Papa Fanzo. Very important. We basically understand what is happening here. There's nothing mysterious. This is just an opening view and trying to gather ourselves as to understand what is happening in here. Very, very important. Now let me run this and I will explain exactly what has really happened there. Let's run this code in the main and see what really happens. I think it is very important that we see what is happening here. Here I am. This is called testing. We are testing. Right. The greeting now, remember, it will invoke this method first. Sorry, we are here. I have invoked first delegate equals that. So here I was just instantiating the objects. That's fine. Nothing mysterious about this. Right. And then what did I do now? I am invoking this method. Let me show you something. Let me do this so that you see exactly what is happening here. Let me run this because I'm trying to make you understand. So let me just do this. Right. I am invoking this method. Let me go inside of that method. Let me go down. There it is. Sorry about this. So here we are. The greeting is, there it is. It will take the object. Where is that object? Here it is. Very important. This is just a string. This is just a string that is inside of this method. There it is. The greeting is, nothing mysterious about that. Now we come here. It accepts the first parameter as an object and its first delegate. Now look at first delegate. We have hello inside. And what is it that we have inside of that method? We have hello, and it will accept the argument that you have sent there. It's sekes. So it will say hello sekes. Very important, this line of code. So it will say the greeting is hello sekes. Now let me comment this one and show you this one. Now let's run again. Let's just run once again and let's check. The greeting is goodbye, Papa Fanzo. Second delegate, it's goodbye. The greeting is goodbye, Papa Fanzo. So this is just basically what is happening. This is just something simple that we can just output to the console screen. So this is just a basic way of looking at how a console a delegate might work. So in the second tutorial, I think we will take this to a little bit more step and see exactly what really entails. So thank you for watching, guys. I will see you in the next tutorial.